each of you can kind of weigh in a little bit on this about the kind of the advantages and some of the challenges of working with a large ensemble. We could start with Archie, just because you have the...
I mean, funny enough, everything that you were saying, definitely I feel the pressure on The Good Wife. Just as soon as you get so much dialogue, making it feel and sound completely real in the amount of time that you have. I mean, you sometimes, as you all know, get a script like the night before or a few hours before, just being able to digest that dialogue and really trying to find, trying to make it sound like it's coming from within, I think, is the toughest job. I mean, doing the show for 5 years, I still find, it difficult to really make it sound authentic and real.
Our show, we get to just dance around, which is so great because it is so real and authentic. And I did Ally McBeal for a season, so it's terrifying when if and or but is out of place.
When I don't know, I'm really living truthfully in that moment, and I'm not anticipating what my character is going to do or what's going to happen. A good example is David Harewood, who was on our show and turned out to be a really bad guy by the end of the second season, but he didn't know, and he said he would have played that character differently, but that might have ruined the character. And I find that that's sometimes better to not know. That is the difficult.
I think it's the exciting part about being on a show. It's the exciting / terrifying part of being on a show is going, okay, I'm excited to read this episode, excited to see where this character's going, but then something happens down the line in the season where you go, if I knew that fun fact about myself, then, that behavior before would have been different. To at least have it, whether or not it would have read different, on screen is one thing, but it would have felt different.
Well, I was thinking the other day that's partly what is sort of awesome and really challenging about television. Kind of what you were saying is that instead of when you're in a movie, you know the beginning and the middle and the end, and generally it's at the movie takes place at the most heightened moment in that character's life, and so you kind of play it that way. And part of the challenge and the revelation for me from doing this TV show is that, yes, it's very heightened and dramatic, but it's also just another day in your life. And there's going to be another one and another one and another one. And it's sort of, you start from the beginning again every time, and you can get to these extreme points of sort of frustration or, love or passion or fury or whatever. And then it just goes, and then the next week it's sort of, there you are back again. And it's like it never happened almost. And which is kind of more like life in some ways, more like how we all experience our everyday life.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge for me for TV is how do you keep a character interesting for 22 episodes for 5 years?
And you're getting bored of the sound of your own voice.
Yeah, as opposed to a 2-hour film where you have your beginning, your middle, and your end. You know exactly what's going to happen to your character. How do you maintain that for like 5, 6 years?
You steal nail polish, you get arrested, you screw a lot of people on the show, you take your clothes off.
That's what writers are for.
Do you feel like there's better work in television now than there was, available even a few years ago?
I do. I think all of the actors that are now, we kind of got smart early on, us sitting here. I mean, we can still do, woo! Now we can still do film and stuff if we want, but I feel like the characters that are on TV right now are so rich, and, for us to be able to work, I don't know. I just find them to be, it's more freeing for me as an actor.
So can you talk a little bit about what you kind of learned?